So the last text that we studied was Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text 25. And we will move on to the next verse. Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text 26. Evam pravartasya sada bhutanam shreyasi dvijaha sarvatma kenapi yada natu syad tridayam tataha. O twice born Brahmanas, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. Shri Vyasadeva was not satisfied with himself, although he had prepared literature for Vedic value for all around welfare of the general mass of people. It was expected that he would be satisfied by all such activities, but ultimately he was not satisfied. Nati prasidad dhraya sarvasvatyas tate suchau vitarkayan viviktastha idam chovacha dharma vit. Thus the sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect, because he knew the essence of religion, and he said within himself, somebody wants to read? Anybody wants to read? Okay.
I could try, Prabhuji.
Please, go ahead.
I'm not very good, but I'll just try. If you could scroll down a bit.
Yes.
Dhrita vratina hi maya chanda si guravo jnanaha manita nirvyanikena grihatam chanasanam. Bharata vyapadeshena han ya manyarthascha pradarshita drishyata yatra dharmadi stri strit sudra dibir api uta. I have, under strict disciplinary vows, unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual masters, and the altar of sacrifice. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of the Mahabharata, by which even women, Shudras, and others, friends of twice born, can see the path of religion.
Okay, so this is the internal thought process of Vyasa. Thank you, Mataji. This is the internal thought process of Vyasadeva, that he has strictly maintained disciplinary vows. He has, been guided by the spiritual masters. He has basically quality-wise consciousness, everything. He has done the right things, right? And he has tried to explain all this through Mahabharata and works like that, and still he's not feeling that this is satisfactory work. Okay. Anybody else wants to read? Go ahead.
तथापि बत में धेयो आत्मा चैवात्मा विभु असपन्न इवाभाति ब्रह्मवर्चस्य सतम. I am feeling incomplete, though I myself am fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Undoubtedly, Sri Vyasadeva was complete in all the details of Vedic achievements. Purification of the living being submerged in matter is made possible by the prescribed activities in the Vedas. But the ultimate achievement is different. Unless it is attained, the living being, even the fully equipped, cannot be situated at the transcendently normal stage. Srila Vyasadeva appeared to have lost the clue and therefore felt dissatisfied. So after achieving everything, you feel dissatisfied that something seems to be missing. This happens, by the way, when this Krishna is not in the picture. Kim va bhagavata dharma na prayana nirupitaha priya paraba ham sanam ta eva hi uchate priyaha. This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. That he has not specifically pointed out bhakti, although he has spoken about bhakti in multiple places. Tyasyavam kilam atmanam manyamanasya kidyata krishnasya narado vyagat asramam prag udahritam. As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa on the banks of the Saraswati, just as Vyasa was regretting his defects. So Narad Muni comes to the scene. Tam abhigyana sahasa pratyuthagata munihi pujayam asa vidhivan naradam suraputpujitam. At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Sri Vyasadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that given to Brahmaji, the creator. So this is display of how a guru is treated, how a spiritual master is treated. That Narada is treating Vyasadeva, respectfully worships him and gives him veneration equal to that which is given to Brahmaji, who's Narad Muni's guru and father. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, fourth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Appearance of Sri Narada. So Narada has come to the scene. Now the next chapter, we will hear the conversation between Narada and Vyasa. This is very special because there's a Guru-Shishya conversation, right? Narada and Vyasa, Narada being Guru, Vyasadeva being the Shishya. And it'll give us a lot of insights of how a Guru interacts and how a disciple interacts with the Guru. And given often, no matter how accomplished we are, we often don't see the faults in ourselves. And that's where a Guru-like personality is so important in our lives, who can point it out to us, who can chastise us, who can push us in the right direction, exactly when we need that push. Suta vacha athatam sukham asina upasinam prihach charava devarshi praha viprasim vinapani smayan iva. Suta Goswami said, thus the sage amongst the gods, Narada, comfortably seated and apparently smiling, addressed the rishi among the brahmanas, Vedasya. Achha, so this is like Suta Goswami glorifying Narada. That who is Narada? He is the sage among gods or demigods. And as he sits down, Vyasadeva is referred to as Rishi among the Brahmanas. So Narada was smiling because he well knew the great sage Vyasadeva and the cause of his disappointment. As he will explain gradually, Vyasadeva's disappointment was due to insufficiency in presenting the science of devotional service. Narada knew the defect, and it was confirmed by the position of Vyasa. Narada Uvacha Parasaraya Mahabhaga Bhavata Kachid Atmana Paritusyati Sharira Atma Manava Evava. Addressing Vyasadeva, the son of Parashara, Narada inquired, "Are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as the objects of self-realization?" This was a hint by Narada to Vyasa regarding the cause of his despondency. Please understand, this conversation is happening between two very, very elite people. They're not commoners. So the way they interact is also very elite. If you see how Krishna and Arjun interacts, there also we get to see this sense of very proper formal usage of words. And every word has a particular tone and hint to it. And especially when one is referring to another person, when Krishna calls Arjuna Gurakesha, or Arjun calls Krishna Keshava, or Madhusudana, there is an indication in the name with which they're referring to each other. And Srila Prabhupada in his purports explains those indications. Same way, here, Vyasa and Narada, two extremely elevated personalities, spiritually, they're par excellence. They're conversing. And the way they're referring to each other is very, very pertinent. And Suta Goswami, who's narrating all this, is also referring to them in a particular way. Addressing Vyasadeva, the son of Parashara, Narada inquired, "Are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as object?" So he doesn't just come in and say, "Hey, write something about Krishna." He first asks his disciple a question, that are you satisfying by identifying with the body or mind as the object of self-realization? Because that's what he has done through the Vedic system. Right? It's all about demigods. It's all about do this for good health, do that for getting a good wife, do this for this, and karma kanda, karma kanda, karma kanda. Right? 1.53. Do we have anybody who wants to read?
May I
Go ahead, please.
Okay, 1.5.3. Jigyana susama panam api te mahad adbhutam kritavan bharatam yas tav sarvartha parimrityam. Translation: Your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled. And there is no doubt that you have prepared a great and wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences elaborately explained.
So Narad Muni first asks him a question to make him thoughtful. Then he appreciates him that you've done a good job. So we must learn how a superior speaks to his subordinate, whether it's a guru shishya, whether it's a employer-employee, boss, or parent-child, etc. Right? So there was, firstly, he gave a hint why his disciple is upset. Then he appreciates that what you've done, great job. Right? Now we'll see what happens next. Anybody else want to read?
Can I try?
Go ahead.
जिज्ञासिता चितं हितं च ब्रह्म यतत् सनातनम् तथापि स्वच्छस्य कामना कृतार्थ इव प्रभो. You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as the knowledge derived therefrom. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Next.
Hare Krishna. So now he's asking him that you've talked about impersonalism, Brahman, and you've spoken about knowledge. Then why are you still feeling that something is missing? And calls him Prabhu. Respect. Vyasa vacha astiva me sarvam idam tvayoktam tathapi natma paritushyate me tanmulam avyaktam agadha bodham prachamahe tvatma bhavatma bhutam. Sri Vyasadeva said, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not pacified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. For you are a man of unlimited knowledge due to your being the offspring of the one, Brahma, who is self-born without mundane father and mother. So, again, very sophisticated conversation is going on, right? It's not very direct, get to the point type conversation. It is where they're both kind of warming up to each other. Narad is hinting, asking questions, and Vyasadeva is sharing his heart, right? Narad doesn't just come in and say, I'm your guru, I'm going to tell you what is good for you. No, he's hinting, he's asking, and Vyasadeva is saying, I am not feeling pacified. Even though you said everything, and that is true, I have done a very thorough job with this Mahabharata and with the Vedas, but I'm not feeling a sense of satisfaction. Savai bhavan veda samastaguhyam upasito yat purusha puranaha paravaresho manasaiva vishvam srijati avatiyati guner asangaha. My Lord, everything that is mysterious is known to you because you worship the creator and destroyer of the material world and the maintainer of the spiritual world, the original personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. So Vyasadeva is continuing that everything that is mysterious is known to you because you worship the. So that's for learning for us is, for us, nothing is a mystery. After knowing Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we don't have the thing as like how this world works. There have been great philosophers like Descartes. There have been great philosophers like Shelley, so many of these people, Western philosophers, Indian philosophers, who have tried hard and fast and have not come to conclusions that even a 5-year-old can come to conclusion by studying the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. For example, people think about what is the purpose of life? Why do we exist? Why does good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people, right? For us, these are basic knowledge. These are mysteries of the universe, but to us, these are not mystery, right? Because of the knowledge access that we have. So by being a devotee of Krishna, all the mysteries become manifest in the form of knowledge, and that is because of a disciplic succession. That is because of our gurus who give us that knowledge. So that is the glorification that is going on. Okay, somebody wants to read 1.5.7?
I'll try, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 7. Tvam paryatan arka iva trilokim antascharo vayur ivatma sakshi paravara brahmani dharmato vratai स्नातस्य मे न्यूनाम alam vichaksva. Like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the three worlds, and like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of everyone. As such, you are as good as the all pervasive supersoul. Please, therefore, find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulations and vows.
Okay. So a guru is supposed to be the external manifestation of super soul, right? So super soul doesn't talk, but Paramatma speaks to us through the guru. Guru is somebody who's extremely knowledgeable about the Vedas and can dispel our doubts, is sense controlled. And so this has been glorified that like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the three worlds. And Narad Muni is known to be a space traveler. He can go to Vaikuntha one moment, next moment he can be in Swargaloka, next moment he can be in Patala Loka or Bhumandala. So Narad Muni can travel anywhere and everywhere. He's fully free. Just like Krishna, because he's so devoted to Krishna, he has almost the same freedom as the Supreme Lord when it comes to going to any axis of the creation, not just universe. So that is being referred to here as we speak. So as such, you are as good as the all-pervading super soul. Please, therefore, find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulations and vows. So this is something I want to kind of elucidate on the last line. That Vyasadev being Vyasadev, right? He is following all the regulative principles, all the proper vows, the discipline and everything that even the best of the bhaktas might not be able to follow. Yet, Vyasadev-like personality is feeling lack of satisfaction. Why? We know why. But it is important to understand, sometimes we get too bogged down by rules and regulations and things like that, because that is something we follow and we expect. Bhakti will come like that. I will do my 16 rounds, my 4 regs, and Bhakti will come and be fully happy. But Krishna is not our servant. We are Krishna's servant. So we can't just expect, aha, here is the formula, I do it, and output comes. It's not like that. Krishna, when he is pleased, that's when our hearts are pacified. When is Krishna pleased? Krishna is pleased by his unabashed glorification, exclusive devotion. When we share that knowledge with others, right? That's when Krishna is pleased. So pleasure of Krishna leads to the kind of satisfaction which a pure devotee is looking for, right? And a pure devotee knows when that satisfaction is not at that level, because material satisfaction, material world, that is nothing compared to one has tasted Brahma Sukha. For him, this is like whatever. But one who's looking for that and not getting it, it's like, what am I doing wrong? Have I committed offenses? Because when you commit offenses to devotees, Krishna's mercy gets stuck and you don't experience the joy and transcendence, right? So Vyasadeva is like, my Lord, my dear Narad Muni, you're my guru. You can penetrate the heart. Please tell me why I'm not satisfied. Prayash, why is your hands up?
Prabhu, I have a question.
Mhm.
So you mentioned that Narada has the same freedom as Krishna. That
Almost same freedom when it comes to travel and access.
traveling, he can travel wherever he wants to. And now you said that he can travel to anywhere in the creation, not just in this universe, right?
Right.
So my question is, like, just like there are different Brahmas in different universes, so are there different Naradas or Narada is one?
I have not heard of different Naradas. Actually, different yoga cycles, there are different Naradas, yes. But they're not all one. Oh, no, is it? Yeah, yeah. There are different Naradas and different yoga cycles. But not all Naradas have the same story, just so you know.
So is it the same person having different?
No, no. So this Narada is born of a maid servant in his past life. They served the Bhakti Vedantas. As a result, he was born to Lord Brahma. There are other Naradas also. There are other stories of other Naradas who are born differently. Prahlad Maharaj is born differently in other yoga cycles. So there are different variations. They're not the same. Just like
No,
Brahma, this Brahma is born from the lotus, from the navel of Lord Mahavishnu or Karudaksha Vishnu. But other Brahma can be something else, something else. So story changes, and Brahma is a position. So my understanding is there are different Naradas and different yoga cycles.
my question was like, Prabhu, is it the same personality, like same soul in different
No,
Narada form or different souls?
different souls.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you for explaining.
I'm hoping I'm not mixing up. Yeah, because from my spiritual master only, I had heard in a lecture that this particular Narada is born from the maid servant, and they, as a baby, he served the Bhakti Vedantas. Another story in another place talks about another Narada. So from that, I'm telling you what I'm telling you. But I can't point to a scriptural evidence necessarily to answer that question for you.
Prabhu, one more thing was out of context. I remember you mentioned that there is a scriptural evidence of Jesus Christ. Can you
Bhavishya
please,
Puran.
Bhavishya Puran, like, can you point the verse or shloka?
No, I've not read it. But
Okay.
Srila Prabhupada mentioned, and Prabhupada has probably pointed out also multiple times, Bhavishya Puran, where, not only Jesus Christ, but also Prophet Muhammad and other things have been mentioned about the future,
Okay, Prabhu.
future tense.
Oh, future tense. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes. Pradeep Prabhu?
Prabhuji, you said about Vyasadeva that even though he is following all the principles, but still bhakti is still different, right? So this is little confusing. Means
Very
what
good.
is this bhakti?
Very good question and very good observation. Yes. So Krishna is not our servant that we press a remote button and Krishna is like, here I am. He is fully independent and he appears when there is devotion. When there is no devotion, he lets automation take care of itself. So the Brahma Sukha, the extreme happiness one gets, is by pleasing the Supreme Lord. So what Vyasadeva has done, he has done his job, where he has talked about a lot about Mayavada, not Mayavada, but Brahmavada philosophy. And that is what Narad Muni is hinting at, that you have elucidated very nicely, Brahmavada philosophy and material things. So a lot of things about, Ayurveda, for example, astrology, for example, these are things that are material world, right? Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, they are mostly talking about things of different planets, different universe, related to the body, related to the mind, related to the intelligence, right? All of that. But about Krishna, there has been nothing yet that has been created. And that is being referred to here. And unless there is that aspect of glorification of the God, of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that my pure devotees like to glorify me and share my glories amongst each other and inspire each other in bhakti. Right? Chapter 10, Krishna says that. So here, Vyasadeva has not done that appropriately. There is not enough glorification of Krishna. And that is why he's feeling that sense of dissatisfaction. Something is missing. So it is not the rules and regulations that give you that pleasure. It is Krishna's love. It's Krishna's pleasure that gives us that sense of joy. When he is smiling, that's when we feel the joy of devotion, the joy of bhakti.
But in this case, Vyasadeva has already written Mahabharata,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. Am I
Yes.
correct? So,
But it is stating the facts.
okay.
It is stating the facts only. But one can still argue, okay, Krishna was a leader, a king of Dwarka. Krishna doesn't say much in Bhagavad Gita about him being God. He does mention many times, but then it's Krishna. He's being humble and proud at the same time. Chapter 10, he is being proud, talking about his 72 opulences. But at the same time, he's not talking much about being God. There is not enough glorification. Like Srimad Bhagavatam, as we proceed, we will see how much Srimad Bhagavatam talks about God being God. We'll realize, oh wow, we knew nothing about Krishna. From Krishna's words, he is very humble. But Bhagavatam gives us how great is God. So the greatness of God has not been sufficiently glorified.
Means
From pure devotion perspective, without dilution with anything else. See, Bhagavad Gita has dilution. There is Karma Yoga, there's Jnana Yoga, there's Ashtanga Yoga, and then there's Bhakti Yoga. But there's nothing that is unabashed glorification of Krishna. Sorry, you were saying something.
So what you want to say is that we have to do our job according to our capacity. Vyasadeva has a much higher capacity. According to his capacity, he is writing Mahabharata and all kagas, right? And according to our capacity, we are doing our job. So we have to do our job plus something else for Krishna, right?
No,
This is
that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is Vyasadeva was supposed to compile the Vedas. He has compiled the Vedas. Work is done. Now, he's not getting a salary for it. He's doing it, he's supposed to be doing it as a service, right? So as he's doing it as a service, the job well done is okay. But the purpose of the Vedas is Vedascha sarver ahamevya vidya. It is to know Krishna. Has he done enough that from these Vedic literatures, the pure devotional service to Krishna can be attained? That is the question here. He has mixed it with Brahmavadi philosophy, Gyan Yoga, this, that. There's a lot of khichdi out there in the Vedas. But has he done anything which gives somebody a tablet? Here is a tablet of pure devotion. Take it and nothing else is required. He has not done it. So the job is not complete yet because the purpose of the Vedas is not yet fulfilled in a proper way. And as we go through, it will become clearer. Through the conversation of Narada and Vyasa, it will become clearer. Okay, we'll go to the next verse. Canto 1, chapter 5, text 8. Sri Narada Vacha Bhavatanud Prayam Yaso Bhagavato Malam Yenai Vasau Na Tushita Manyatad Darshanam Kilam. Sri Narada said, you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. Very strict words. Why? Because we might do a lot of things. Let's say somebody has done a great PhD thesis on the movements of the sun. It's, appreciable work. But how does that help anyone come to know about God? If that same person talks about the movement of the sun and connects that knowledge to how great is Krishna, that the sun is powered by the Brahma Jyoti, which is basically Krishna's bodily effulgence. Now that suddenly becomes a glorification of the Lord. And then that work is worth doing. If there is no glorification of the Lord, it is worthless activity. And that is why Although great Vyasadev is trying to do this service, he's feeling that sense of incompleteness because he has not broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in our work, whatever we do, if we can just do a little bit of glorification of the Lord through whatever means, how great is God, right? Preaching doesn't have to be too much. It doesn't have to be half an hour, 1 hour session. It can be one sentence. Wow, Krishna is so great. Because even an ant is able to do so much, is able to carry such a big chunk of sugar on its back. How great is Krishna? So like that, when glorification of Krishna for devotees is a natural effect, which Vyasadev, trying to be all, do the proper things, Vyasadev has not glorified Krishna enough. And that is why Narad Muni is pointing it out. Okay, there is Krishna was asking, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for explaining how our hearts are pacified when Krishna is pleased. I just wanted to ask that when Krishna is happy, things go smooth, but otherwise it feels mechanical to perform the daily sadhana and somehow get a little bit slacked. How to keep us motivated to still follow the 4 reg and chant our 16 rounds? Well, Krishna is pleased when devotees are pleased. So very easy way to please Krishna is to serve the devotees, serve the Vaishnavas, and naturally associate with those kind of devotees who enjoy chanting the holy name, who enjoy sharing the holy name with others. And thereby, by their association, we feel inspired to move forward in our Krishna consciousness, follow the 4 regulative principles. So association of devotees is very, very important. So we must associate with like-minded devotees who have the taste for which we are yearning, who are not mechanical in their approach, and thereby through the Vani association and Vapu association, we are able to get that inspiration. Prayash, Prophet Muhammad, verse reference, Bhavishya Puran, okay. King named Bhoj encountering a foreigner named Mahamada, who is depicted as a teacher from the Mlechas. Mahamada is said to teach a new religious system that includes a god without an idol, which some interpret reference to Islamic belief. Jesus Christ, Bhavishya Puran, section refers to Isha Putra, right, son of God. Figure who comes from a distant land and promotes worship of a single god, aligning. Yes. Okay. You found your reference. Yes, Pradeep Prabhu.
Prabhuji, chanting pleases Krishna. This is correct.
Correct.
Is this correct?
Yes.
So even while chanting, we feel it as mechanical part. Means we do it mechanically, more mechanically. So means how to add value to chanting. Means how to it should be pleasing to pleasing activity, right? So how this can be done?
So it is said that when we have jaundice, if somebody puts sugar in our mouth, it tastes bitter. Same way, when we are spiritually jaundiced, when we have the material disease of being materialistic, chanting of the holy name does not feel very sweet, even though it is sweet. So what is the remedy? Scriptures say, just like remedy for jaundice is sugar candy. Just keep having sugar candy. Slowly, jaundice goes away, and the sugar candy, which used to taste bitter, now tastes sweet. Same way, the only thing to do here is keep chanting. Whether you like it or not, mechanically or devotionally, somehow or other, chant. As we chant, chanting helps us chant better. Krishna is pleased to see our sincerity, that he is trying. Let me help him. Is chanting getting better? Are we able to focus better? Are we having more faith? Are we having more attraction to hearing Krishna Katha? These are indications that Krishna is pleased and Krishna is helping us. And the fact that we're sticking to the system while being in the material world, where it is absolutely opposite of anything to do with devotion, it's a great sign that we are moving in the right direction. Krishna is pleased, he's helping us. But millennia and millennia of material infection can't just go away in one go. It can, it has happened, but that requires that level of intense practice, intense calling out to Krishna, like a child calling out to mother, right? Where we chant that way, that it brings in that level of ecstasy quickly. So depending on our intensity, the purification is speed or pace of purification happens. Krishna's mercy, our effort, our intensity of chanting. So keep chanting no matter what, whether it's mechanical or whether it's devotional, doesn't matter. End of the day, we are trying our best. That's what we have to make sure, that whatever our situation, we are trying our best. Krishna will do the rest. One thing I can tell you, Pradeep Prabhu, you and I know each other for I think 2 to 3 years now. And when we first met to where we are today, how we saw each other in Vrindavan, how you are relishing Krishna consciousness. You've built 2 buildings named after the Supreme Lord. Your child is you're imparting Krishna consciousness to your child, to your wife, right? So in every single way, have you made significant advancement? Yes. Would it have happened if Krishna was not pleased? No. So whatever you're doing, to the degree you're doing, that degree, Krishna is pulling you in to his family. And thereby you're seeing the progress, the growth that you have in your life.
Right, Roger.
It's not like a like how they show in the movies, a thunderbolt coming, brr, and boom, something happens. It's not like that. It's a gradual process. Krishna is the perfect teacher. So he gradually attracts our heart to his lotus feet. Those who are sincere. He understands where we are in the material world, how hard it is to be a devotee. So he doesn't just yank us out. He slowly attracts us. And we will see, as long as our attraction for bhakti is there, hearing Krishna Katha is there, chanting might be boring, but we want to somehow be engaged with Krishna. That means there's a sense of attraction between Krishna and you. And that's the indication that Krishna is allowing you, Radharani is allowing you to have that attraction. And thereby you have access to Krishna Bhakti. And thereby you're being pulled towards Krishna's lotus feet.
Prabhuji, I want to share one thing.
Yes.
That this is the difference, that how I see and how you see it. So that you said one sentence, that this is from past 2 years, how many things have changed and how much Krishna has allowed you, right? So Krishna has allowed me, and what my material mind or what I see is, I'm doing so much for Krishna, right? So this is the difference. Actually, this means ये सीखकर पार करना है कि I से बढ़कर वहां तक पहुंचना है, तो ये naturally आना चाहिए जो अभी तक आ नहीं रहा है.
आ जाएगा. We are
Right.
making progress. You noticed it. Of all the things I said, you heard this. Now you're going to put that deep within. And as you move along, that's going to be part of your consciousness. So that's
Right.
how this devotee conversations are very, very important, is because of this, so that it becomes natural to us. New things, become part of us.
Right. Thank you,
Praveen,
Prabhuji.
sure, Prabhuji. Praveen Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just a realization, Prabhu, to add to your the inputs and Pradeep Prabhu's inputs. I think to get the taste of Harinam, it's a journey for sure. The way I realized is, it is said that it's a ABCD of Bhakti, right? Association of devotees, as you rightly said, and serving the devotees. So B is reading Prabhupada books. I mean, Prabhupada books is again what we are doing every week, attending your classes and etc. And chanting, of course, and these deity worship and dham visits. So I think gradually, when consistently, if we keep doing, definitely, I have realized that I have got really that kind of a taste. But it's not so consistent. I'm a fallen soul again, but definitely, that helps, Prabhu, Pradeep Prabhu.
Yeah, we are
I
all
think
fallen souls here. And Prabhupada said, the worst devotee is 10,000 times better than the best of the materialists. So none of us here are the worst devotees, for sure. But even wherever we are, it is so many millions of times better than what we used to be as materialistic lives that we have had in the past. So let's look at this in a positive light. And it's wonderful that somehow in this journey, in this lifetime, we have access to devotees, access to books, access to deities, access to association, and that's enough for us to go back to Godhead. Okay, anybody else wants to share anything? Appreciation, realization, questions?
And it's actually creates magic, Prabhu. I mean, not just one time, it's consistently Krishna is proving that he is there with us. He will
Yes.
actually test us for sure, but he will not leave us, Prabhu. Whatever the come what may, he will not leave us.
Unless we tell
That
him to
chance.
leave, then that's a different story. Then he still doesn't leave us. He just releases his grasp a little bit. Because if he leaves us, we can't function without him.
Yes, yes. Prabhu.
Okay, we'll continue. Aparna, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
1.5.9 Yatha dharmadayaschatham muni varyanukirtitha na tatha vasudevasya mahima hyanuvarnita. Although great sage, you have very broadly described the four principles beginning with religious performances. You have not described the glories of all Supreme Personality, Vasudeva.
So again, religious performances, yagyas, mantras, all these wonderful things that we know from the Vedas have been described, but the glories of Vasudev Krishna has not yet been glorified enough. Okay, continue.
5.10 Nayad vachas chitrapadam haririyasho jagat pavitram pragnita parhichit tadvayasam tirtham usanti manasa nayatrahamsa Niramanti Yusikshaya. Those words, which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there.
What a graphical example. Pilgrimage of the crows. Thank you, Aparna. Where do crows go? You see crows, leftover garbage, things like that. You see caw, 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 they'll all be there. So to a saintly person, where Krishna's glorification is not there, it feels like that caw, 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 caw. I was in recently, as you know, I was in Sharjah. Before that, Abu Dhabi, before that, Dubai. And at every place, even though this mostly audience was a particular religion, 98% you can say is from a particular religion, I still made sure at least one slide I had quoting the Bhagavad Gita. just to give it some meaning to what I'm doing, right? I'd rather do something that is Krishna conscious, no matter how materialistic that might be. Tying it back to Krishna is called dovetailing. Right? Now, of course, if I'm talking about making bombs and killing people, that's terrible. That can't be tied back to Krishna. No, we don't do that. But connecting back, whatever, we are, our fields of activities that are not breaking the regulative principles, if we can tie it back somehow to connect with Krishna, that is glorification. So Srila Prabhupada, he would do this every day. Every morning when he would go for a morning walk, he would use the most mundane things to explain Krishna conscious principles to glorify the Lord, right? He would look at the Arabian Sea, walking on the Juhu beach, and be like, what is that? It's the Arabian Sea. Krishna's incarnations are more than the waves of the ocean, right? He would look at some tree, he would give some example, look at the sunrise, the sunset, he would glorify Krishna's beauty. He would look at the fruit and talk about how beautifully Krishna has packaged this fruit, perfectly packaged, biodegradable, whatnot, right? So Prabhupada would find anything and connect that back to Krishna. That's his expertise, and that's his love for Krishna, that he can see Krishna everywhere. Even one time he was showcasing bird poop, bird droppings. And he said, what is this? And all the disciples were thinking, what is Prabhupada trying to get out of bird droppings? What would he say now? And he said, these birds are very attached to that branch. That's why every day they're coming and sitting at the same branch and they're doing their bathroom activities here. So if a bird can get attached to a branch, what to speak of us humans getting attached to our homes and family lives and everything. So we must be careful of this material world. We must not get attached. We must do things in a detached way. So like that, he could bring meanings out of everything, right? So such a person, this is called Shastra Chakshu, seeing the world through the eyes of scriptures, right? Such a person, he never misses an opportunity to see Krishna everywhere. Like Prahlad Maharaj, when Hiranyakashipu asked, where is your God? Where is your Vishnu? He said, he's everywhere. And the proud Hiranyakashipu said, is he in this wall? Is he in this pillar? Yes, he is in this pillar. Then he kicked the pillar, came out, Narshikadev, and killed him. So a pure devotee sees God everywhere. This material world doesn't feel like a material world because it's inside the spiritual world. So everything materialistic, we don't say neti, neti, neti. That's a Mayavada philosophy. Neti means not this, not this, not this. It's all material. It's all illusion. We say everything is Krishna's. So everything must be used in Krishna's service. And thereby, with our word, with our speech, with our hard work, our money, our intelligence, our creativity, whatever Krishna has given us, we use it in service to Krishna, to glorify Krishna. Then only our life is satisfied. We might be tiny, insignificant compared to Vyasadeva. But if we have glorified the Lord to even one person, life is satisfied. We are happy. Krishna is happy and we are happy. That is the motto of a devotee. Have I glorified Krishna today? If I've glorified Krishna, my life is successful. If I've failed an opportunity to glorify Krishna, then what have I done? I've wasted time. It's a pilgrimage of the crows, where there is all this. So I go to all these conferences and all, and I think of this, people are talking so seriously about such things. Of course, they are important to them and they are important for economic growth and whatnot. But what happens when this person gets a heart attack right now? Will he prioritize all these things he's talking about, all the plans he's making, or would he want to just live? And at that point, what would be the most important thing? I wonder, right? This is something to think about for all of us. Akshat is asking, should I accept the situation if I can't do anything about it? If you can't do anything about it, ask someone who can, right? You're not alone. You have association of devotees. You have access to those who are more knowledgeable than you are in handling that situation. So find somebody who has that experience and ask for help. Like Arjun is asking Krishna for help to guide him. Okay, it's 8:29. Any last realizations sharing or questions, anything? All right. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna, and see you next Friday.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.